So, Byron Bay, and then where?
So from Byron Bay went down to Sydney, even though I said Byron Bay was the furthest south I would travel. Went down to the Northwest Rail job.
Don't worry, bro. A lot of fellas said they wouldn't go to Sydney, and they were still there now, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So which job?
Yeah, so I went to Northwest Rail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was on the cross passage crew there, so doing cross passages. So that was another eye opener. Well, I knew what they were, but yeah, I'd never just been on this actual crew. It's a cross passage crew. So yeah,
Another feather in the cap, as you might say. Hey, so what's the cross passage?
So every, I think it's 240 metres, I think. In your mainline tunnel, on your TBM tunnel, you have cross passages. So they're just emergency exits from tunnel to tunnel. Yeah. I think they're 240 metres.
So how do you cut them out? How do you tunnel them out?
Different. What did we do there? We used Brock excavators. So they were electric or diesel powered excavators. Operated by a remote, so opposed to being on an excavator sitting in the cab, it's all remote, and you're just hammering away there.
But you've been on an excavator, eh? So this would have been perfect for you, or?
Yeah, it was. Didn't take me too long to pick it up.
What's the distance of those cross passages from tunnel to tunnel?
I think they were around 10 metres. I think. Yeah. Roughly, anyway.
Yeah. And just another method, eh?
Method of
tunneling underground.
Yeah.
And so after you, because they're like a rock breaker, eh? But like you say, an excavator, and instead of hammering down, well, you can. I suppose you can hammer.
Yeah, you can hammer straight up. Yeah. It's they're pretty awesome machines, eh?
Why is it on remotes and not sit on the machine? What's the reason behind them?
Because on that particular job, it was a 6 metre tunnel.
Yeah.
So that TBM was still operating. All their segments going in and out. So you had to be as close to the wall as you can to let them through, so you never stop them.
Right. So it's
for compact areas.
Right.
Yeah, small areas. You still had your ventilation up above you.
Yeah.
Any digger above 8 tonnes is just too big for in there, really. Yeah.
Who gets the right of way? Like you're compact and all that, but when you want to get your gear out in your tunnel, who gets the right of way? The main line or you fellas?
TBM operators, they get the right of way. But when they're in my tunnel, roadheader tunnels, they got right of way.
No, good one. How long? What site were you there at?
I was at Cherrybrook.
Oh yeah. Your dad was there.
Yeah.
He loved it, eh?
Yeah.
He loved that site.
Yeah.
I remember him talking about it.
Yeah.
And it was a good site.
It was. The first thing that got to, what went through my head was how clean that site was.
Yeah.
It's a tunnel, but it was a clean tunnel. It's, every tunnel's clean, but this one here in particular, and one thing that your dad implemented down there was earplugs. He had bins for earplugs, and all around the site. You see a lot of people just take the earplugs and just throw them on the ground. You see them walking up the drives, but there it was just immaculate. Yeah,
he would have thrown a few earplugs away in his time too. So
yeah.
It's funny you say that because he loved that site. I remember him talking about it constantly, and I didn't work on that project and I wasn't at that site, but I knew all about it just through his stories and what he told me, and the boys that were there or the crew that were there, and the bosses that run that job, and how good they were. He raved about them.
Yeah.
He'd been around for a while, obviously,
definitely,
and worked on a few projects, but he really, really admired what everyone did there.
Yeah.
I suppose his little input was pretty handy too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's funny you say about earplugs though, because he was proud of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said to me that, I'm glad the boys are sort of coming online with little things like that, because it's those little things that make a difference to the big things, he was saying.
Yeah, that's right. And it's attitude. It comes down to attitude.
Yeah. So how long were you there for?
I was only there for 6 months. So that was sort of an in-between job before we started NorthConnex tunnel with the prior company I was working for. So, I was there 6 months and we had one last cross passage to finish before I left. So, and went over to NorthConnex after that, and that was awesome, the job. Great bunch of guys, and
So by then, you'd clocked up, over 10 years, considering we were here for about 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you had the Byron Bay, Cherrybrook, and then you went to NorthConnex.
Yep.
Now, I met you down there on a few occasions on the NorthConnex project, like a lot of the boys that I'd worked with over the years and seen, but what was your role there, and what side?
So I was on the southern side, and I was tunnel shift boss down there. Yeah, so different role. Had a lot more responsibility down there, which I actually enjoyed, and I had a pretty gun crew down there too, pretty experienced, and I think it goes a long way, as well as I had a few green guys coming too. So that was a great job.
How do you get a gun crew that you consider a gun crew? What makes a gun crew?
They listen to me.
Yeah.
No, well, just having a few experiences, few experienced guys. Not too many, not a whole crew, but a few who would take their younger guys under their wing and show them. And there's a couple of guys there that just really made my job easy down there. It was pretty challenging, the conditions down there, but had a couple of key guys down there that really stepped up and brought their younger guys in, brought a few younger guys in, or inexperienced guys, and got them going. So.
How long were you on that job for?
I think I nearly got 3 years out of that job.
Wow.
So it was
which is big for us, eh? Like when we do the excavation side, like I'm trying to tell people on the job I'm on now about the length of these jobs, how they've got longer and longer for us, and I'm only speaking from my experience, but you back me up as well. That even these major projects that we have been on the past, excavation only goes for a year or year and a half, but that's how good we were, though.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's what you tell them.
We could knock a four-year job out in 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 3 years at NorthConnex.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that job, please, and your experience on there. What did you think of it, and what did you get out of that job?
So that job there, as I was saying, I had a lot of experience underneath me, who were more experienced than I was. So I was still learning as well from them. But, they weren't afraid to share their experiences as well. But I think it was just having that responsibility down there, knowing that anything can go wrong at any time, and making sure that you were, you had everything in place, all the safety and especially, your ventilation was right. And, it's got to be number one, your ventilation. If you haven't got that right, then, you don't cut, more or less, So, yeah.
What was that job? What was... It's a road job, road tunnel?
Yeah, there was a road tunnel on Pennant Hills Road in Sydney.
Yeah.
So, that was 4 lanes. It was a 4-lane tunnel. I think that was, once it's opened, it would just be 3 lanes with additional lane there for an option. And it was, I think that was 9 kilometres from Pennant Hills Road, from the bottom of Pennant Hills Road to Pacific Highway. Yeah.
9 kilometres.
Yeah, 9 kilometre dual.
And 3, but proposed for 4 lanes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I heard on that job too, they made it a little bit higher too for haul trucks to come through there as well, eh? And take them off those Pennant Hills Road.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So even bigger, eh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So what was the process for a big tunnel like that in a city compared to what you've done at, say, Clem and Lane Cove? I mean, Clem and Airport Link and all that. Was there much difference, do you think?
There wasn't much difference, really. Just different type of rock. So Sydney sandstone, it's just different rock to the Brisbane, what was it here?
Brisbane tuff
rock. Yeah. So
what's the difference? So hardness or
so sandstone is a bit more coarse. It's a lot more coarse. Whereas the tuff was just it was hard. It was tough. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
So managing wise, shift bossing wise, you had a good crew. You had you had your experienced fellas and you had your greenhorns that came in.
Yeah.
How do you, as a shift boss, your first shift boss job? Or?
It was my first shift boss job. Yeah.
How do you manage it and sustain it or maintain it to do well?
I think it's you obviously got to lead from the top, but with your road header operators, so we had 4 drives. I had 4 drives, and each of those road header operators were running their own drives anyway. They run their own drives. So yeah, I think my job was probably one of the easiest ones. Well, sort of, yeah. It was, the guys I had working with me made it easy, for me. Yeah.
But that's what you want to do, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
definitely.
That's sort of how you should feel, and especially where you've come from too, eh? And it's not as if you didn't know what to do.
That's right. Yeah.
And you would have had a lot of respect too. I believe, I know that from my own experience that you've got a lot of respect in the industry from what you've done. So that would have helped too.
Yeah, definitely it does. I think respect goes a long way, and I think I've got quite a bit of respect, not without big noting myself, but with a few of the guys in the tunnelling industry. So yeah.
No, I think you have, bro. Like you have. I know that. And then, so, NorthConnex, and then...
so NorthConnex, and then I went to Sydney Metro. So that was the next stage of the Northwest Rail. So they call it Sydney Metro 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So I went on there as a roadhead operator. So sort of wanted a quick exit, back home, because I knew this Brisbane tunnel was going to be starting up soon. So took that position and ended up being there for about a year and a half. Yeah.
But as a roadhead operator, like you see, you get employed for a roadhead operator, but with your experience, you could cover pretty much everything, eh?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I haven't done too much bolting, but I can, throw a bolt in here and there, but. I can cover like shock reading. I was doing a bit of shock reading there. Yeah. I think that's it's a good thing about tunnelling. You can let someone else jump in your road header, and train them up, and you go jump on the shock reader or jump on a truck or something like that. You weren't stuck in that same thing. As long as you're getting the meters, then that's
So that Sydney Metro was a roadheader and TBM job too, eh?
Yeah. So predominantly was roadheader. TBM, and the stations were all roadheader. I was in North Sydney there, and we had it was probably the biggest tunnel I've actually been in. I think it was 26 metres high, and around 24 metres wide, or 22 metres wide.
That's because of the station platforms and everything.
The platforms, that's right. Yeah.
I went to a couple of those sites. I remember coming to your site and doing one of my safety talks, and then going to the Pitt Street or Martin Place or something like that, and seeing what they'd done there. That was huge. And
it was. Yeah.
I suppose for us too, when we look back at the jobs that we've been on, and to say that you've been involved in a job, like I've talked to all the fellas that have come on, Let's Talk Tunnelling, and I've asked them, what job do they look back at and think, well, that's a massive achievement. What would be one for you, do you think?
It would be that one there, even though I was only on there for a year and a half on that Sydney Metro 2. It's probably the most challenging job, only because because you got your stations, and then you had your edits or your lift edits for future lift access, and with our decline. So at North Sydney we had a decline. It was like a shaft, but then we had to turn it into a decline later on, 1 in 7 or 1 in 8, which is pretty, it's like that. It's unheard of really in a tunnel.
Yeah.
So it was pretty challenging, and tunnels being built over tunnels, it was.
Going back to that, Clem, where you turned up not knowing a hell of a lot about tunnelling, to what you know now, especially that job, what's your mindset now when you go to a job, and how should you be looking at jobs? What's your thoughts on that?
I think understanding, what you're doing is the main one. Understanding what you're doing, why you're doing it, and obviously understanding like the drawings. That's a big one. And talking to your shift boss or foreman, getting their knowledge as well. I think that's the main thing. Just you've got to ask the questions. If you want to know, you've got to ask. No one's going to come and tell you, this is why we're doing this. But yeah.
I know from my experience, I've done a few jobs, and you might be able to say you've been in the same boat where, you have just rocked up and done your job and gone home without really knowing the overview or the size, or until we look back at it.
Yeah.
There's probably something the advice that I'd like to give to people that come into this industry is exactly what you said: getting an understanding of the job, knowing why you're doing what we do, and you'll appreciate it a bit more too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, definitely. And I suppose, you don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry to operate the machines. Get a whole understanding of what's going on. Especially with your services, why we're doing this, why we're running that. Your ventilation is the main thing down there. Is your ventilation.
Do you think too? Because I've listened to you and your rise in tunnelling too, and there's guys like myself that have been in it twice as long.
Yep.
But have never been a shift boss, never been to the level that you've got, which is why I take my hat off to you and credit to you, I believe, and just what you've done, how you go about your business and how you do it. The people that do come into the industry and see a machine and then all of a sudden, 5 minutes we say, but a few months down the track they're on it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Because there's so much tunnels going in Australia, it's hard to get experienced tunnellers, but it doesn't mean to say we can't train them the right way. They've got to start at the bottom. We've got enough guys to run the headings, but start the new guys at the bottom, get them familiar with your whole process. Whether it's on the ball gang with your services and your ventilation, and then work the way up from there. I think it's you respect it more. I think you respect the industry more if you do it that way. Whereas you go straight to the top, you haven't earned it. Yeah. That's how I feel anyway. Yeah. You got to earn those spots.
From your experience too of going on and doing the ball gang stuff. What do you think that will give you a better understanding of too when you eventually do get a call up or get an opportunity to go on to a heading, which used to be the go, eh? I remember, wanting to get onto a crew because you feel part of the tunnel. Is that how you feel too? Like once you get onto the crew, you're cemented in there and you're part of...
Yeah,
it's like making the playing 15, eh? Or playing the starting team.
Exactly right, yeah.
So what's the benefit of, say, going onto the ball game and doing that bit?
So the benefit
for the getting on as a starter.
Yeah. So it's the same. I think it's like in the mines. Like you said it before. Like this is where you start as a nipper, and then from there you move your way up. And it should be like that in the tunnels. You start in the services, work your way up. And then once you do get onto that road header crew, it's hard to explain. Like you are accepted as one of them.
That's dead right. And this is what I believe, and what I'm seeing now, you will get noticed if you put your head down and your ass up and you get the job in that bull gang. Sort of, there's guys watching, and I don't know, in rugby or whatever they call it, scouts. And I believe there's people out there. There'll be someone like yourself that'll be a shift boss or roadhead operator that will see that green, that new starter staying back and still putting services together when everyone's gone, you know. And that's the fellow you want, on your crew. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely right. Yeah.
So you'll get your chance. You just don't worry when it happens. It'll happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But like you say, you'll learn it, and you'll be better off for it. You'll understand a lot more, which is what we want. We want fellas up the face.
Yeah, and know what's going on.
Know what's going on.
That's right. Yeah.
Why do you think that's important? That fellas need to know before they get there what's going on.
Well, it's just the, it's the safety. You know, it all comes down to safety. You know, you got to know your ground. You got to know you got to be a step ahead of everyone else, really. You know, I think that's the only way I can really put it.
I like on that Sydney Metro where they use that term, staying ahead of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
That was awesome.
Right. Yeah,
I like that whole concept of staying ahead of the game because it refers back to our playing days of
yeah, it does. Yeah.
No, and I remember you know, being able to play touch with you, and you know, you knew what was going on, yet we could read it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know, we was plays ahead that you were planning to set up in those phases. And I suppose when we go back to roadheaders, as funny as it is, that's probably why you've been able to get to where you are so quick because of...
Yeah, it's just like having that peripheral vision, you know, knowing what's happening next. And you did right.
Good one. So then Sydney Metro 2, and then so that was my last job in Sydney, and then now I'm home. I came home in November, sorry, and just waiting for a start on the Cross River Rail. So good one.
Yeah.
What's it up to there? Have you looked into what's happening there?
Not too much at the moment. Pretty early stages of it. Yeah. So
But good to be home, eh?
Oh, it's awesome to be home. Yeah. I think it was around 5-6 years I was doing fly in, fly out, and you know some of the guys are still doing it. So
I suppose the Nelson whānau will probably want me to ask you: do you call this home though, or do you call Nelson home? What's happening?
Oh, home's always home. Yeah, Nelson's always home.
Yeah.
Definitely. Always where the heart is. But you know, this is home away from home.
Yeah, good.
And my kids were born here, and but yeah.
Bro, this has been awesome. You know, I had some questions down here, but I didn't even look at them actually. You pretty much covered everything. Okay. You know, you gave us advice on a lot of stuff that, you know, I'm really wanting, you know, the whole purpose of this is to get fellas like yourself heard. And also people to listen to people that have been there and done it. Yeah. Which is important, I believe.
Yeah.
If your son was coming into tunnelling, man, like if you know, he's 14 now.
Yeah.
You know, I know I started straight out of school. If he said to you, "Hey Dad, any chance of getting a job in the tunnels?" What would be your thoughts? What would you say to that?
No, stay home. No, I'd love it. You know, I'd love it. But I don't think he's going to be a tunneler. I think it takes a different breed.
Yeah.
You know, being a tunneler. But
what advice would you give someone?
Yeah, definitely for the younger guys or who wants to, you know, go tunneling. You know, it's an awesome. It's an awesome job to have, and there's so much tunnelling in this industry. You know, it's not going to stop anytime soon. So, best advice I can have is, you know, if you do get down there, you know, you got to listen to the older guys out there. You know, they're there to help you, and just get down there, work your ass off, be smart about it, and just listen to the older guys. Yeah, that's all I can really say. Yeah.
suppose that covers my last one. Is if you got anything to say, any more to say about tunnelling, bro, like that you want to share? Probably talk about it all.
No. I think we've covered it all.
Good on you, man.
Yeah.
This is awesome. So I'm going to wrap Liam's Let's Talk Tunnelling podcast up. A couple of little shout outs though, and this is probably a personal thing too. Just wanted to have a shout out to Jer Parcells' family back home and the tunnelling community. Lost another brother to mental health, but it's something that I suppose in our industry, we go through a lot.
Yeah.
We can sort of have our ups and downs and things like that too. Right. So that's probably one area that a lot of people don't see because of the way we are. We sort of put a face on and and that. But just a shout out to them and all the condolences. This probably won't be launched for a little while away, but since you're doing it today and it's only just recently happened, I just wanted to shout out to his family and that. And if you are having problems and you're struggling, please get that help. There's helplines, Are You OK? And Mates in Construction too. So it's really important that we get our help that we need. Otherwise, bro, appreciate everything.
Nice.
Awesome. You've come here again and, another awesome Let's Talk Tunnelling. So thank you, bro.
Cheers, brother.